Welcome back, everyone. Sheepdog Smokey here, and we've got one that is just horrific, and horrifying to read. But we apparently have a lesbian couple that, one, castrated their son, full castration, and then also beheaded him because one of them said he reminded her of her dad. Now, this is in Brazil. It is, although reported by the Sun, it is not in the UK. It is in Brazil. But we have this mother and a lesbian lover who tore off her 9-year-old son's penis before beheading him because he reminded her of her dad. Now, looking at this actual story, if you go deep enough, you're going to see that this is, unfortunately, almost a harbinger of the world to come. We've heard for so many months and for several years that gender is fluid. You can be whatever you want to be moment to moment, that you are not born male or female, and so on and so forth. We are now past the point of accept me for who I am to the point of I don't accept you for who you are, so you die. Now, thankfully, in the case of this, both are in custody, but when you look at the world in general, we have calls in California for misgendering someone to be a crime punishable by imprisonment. We have parents in the UK and in other countries, from stories I've read, that are pursuing transition surgery for children under the age of 5. We have women who are aborting their children because they are male. Where does it end? And unfortunately, it ends in hell. These two evil women hated this young boy so much that they mutilated him. It shows later that they apparently quartered his body and tried to burn it, gouged out his eyes to prevent recognition, sliced off part of his face, and then dumped most of it into a sewer, and then also other places. If you don't see the news that reports things like this and believe that we are now approaching a segment of society where human life has zero value other than to be controlled, then you're blind. You see, when I was growing up as a child in the 1980s, homosexuality was not something that made you a pariah. Yes, people would tell you that they believed it was a sin, or that it was counter to biology because two men or two women cannot, without help of the other gender, produce a child. But that was it. There was nothing else. I mean, it was people expressing their opinion, expressing their beliefs. As I entered high school, it had gone a little bit further, where students were basically told to ignore homosexuals or who are cross-dressers because we don't want to cause problems. For those of you who have seen the Camp Tolerance or Tolerance Camp episode of South Park, you'll know about the escalation Mr. Garrison goes through until finally he openly says, well, why won't any of you offend me so I can sue you? We're at that stage apparently now. We have people so blatantly flamboyant or who push so hard to make you say something so that they can then go, ha, gotcha, you owe me money. You need only look at a homosexual couple driving miles out of their way past multiple other businesses so that they can go to one that they likely knew would tell them, I won't make you a special cake, so they can sue. How long is it until someone like this is arrested for mutilating and killing a child for being the wrong gender? How long until someone like that claims it's their right? How long until we have someone who says being cisgendered is offensive to them and they have a right to never see anyone who is not transgender or homosexual? How long until we have someone on trial in this country for the murder of someone that they say offended them by existing? Unfortunately, we're not horribly far away in the span of human existence. I do hope we're not going to, see it in my life, but we're already seeing evil people destroy children because now it's no longer my children can be whatever gender they want. It's my children will be the gender I want. And that is just, I don't understand how anyone can see stories like that. See stories of parents murdering a 9-year-old boy after mutilating him because he reminded one of them of their father. I don't see how you can read the news and hear stories about children, and I'm talking about very young children, being put through transition medical treatment. I know doctors who, outside of life-saving operations, don't want to do medical procedures on children because their bodies are still growing and still changing. It's just beyond me that things like this fly so far under the radar here in the U.S. I mean, why is this not on CNN, MSNBC, ABC News, CBS News, CNBC? Why is this not on any of the liberal news stations? Why is this not on Fox? And the answer is very simple. This exposes the LGBT community for housing a vastly higher percentage of people who do this. Pardon me. I'm not going to claim that straight parents have not done this. I'm not going to claim it hasn't been done, because it has. But I don't see nearly as many stories about a traditional nuclear family having this happened as I do see them coming out of the LGBTQ community. Stories coming out of Britain where a parent decides that they've been told their 2-year-old is transgender. How does a 2-year-old tell you anything? I see stories like this where a young boy, apparently the boy wanted to become a girl, so they brutally mutilated the child. Then they later killed the child. And this is nowhere on the mainstream media. It should be front page in the New York Times, lead story on every news network. But it's not. And there should be a very public demand for why are stories like this not covered. They're not even mentioned. These two women are, or should, go to jail for the rest of their life. They murdered the most innocent among us, child. I've made the comment before, I used to be a detention officer for my local county sheriff's department. Sex offenders or child abusers, they can't be in the general population because their life expectancy is less than 24 hours. It's not much longer when they're housed together and with no one else. They can't stand each other. But even the honor among thieves code is not for them. I just don't know anymore. But I've talked about this longer than I wanted to. If you want to chime in, just remember to stay civil. As always, please like and share the video to expand the conversation, and also please remember to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you're among the first to know of any new content as it posts. Until next time, everyone have a wonderful day.